I hope we're doing great today. If you can hear me and you can see me, please give me a thumbs up. You can hear me and you can see me, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Great. All right, great. It's so good to have everyone here. Hi, Bimbo. Hi, Adeza. Good evening, everybody. All right, thank you for joining us. We are still expecting more people to join the call, but we are going to get started as it is already 1 minute after 5 p.m. So thank you everybody for joining. This is Amdari Employability Training, and we're going to be treating the topic learn how to get visa sponsorship jobs as a data professional. And trust me, this session is going to be facilitated by an industry leader, someone who has been there and done that. So you're in safe hands and you're in good hands. So like I said, we are going to be treating the session with our guest today. But before we get into that, let's do a brief introduction of ourselves. And so I love to do this PD networking because it helps us get to know ourselves, get to know who is on the call, where you're joining from, and what you do. So based on this week's topic, or today's topic rather, which is talking about how to get visa sponsorship jobs. So I'd like you to just tell me what you currently do and the location of your job, right? So what do you do? And if it's remote, if you work remotely, if you work on site, so it's like I'm a data analyst, I work with a company in Nigeria remotely. That just type something like that. So for me now, I would say something like I work with a company in Canada remotely, right? So if that's your case, so just write what you do and where you work. If you work remotely, is your company located in Nigeria or outside Nigeria? So I'll be expecting to see what you're doing and where you work. So just type it in the chat. I'll be reading that out, okay? So I'm expecting to see that. I'm still waiting for you guys to type. So what do you do, and do you work remotely or on site, right? So if it's remotely or on site, just let us know what the dynamic is like. Is it in Nigeria? Okay, Bimbo says she's a data analyst who is job searching. All right. Akiemi says he works remotely with a fintech company in Nigeria as a credit analyst, as a credit risk analyst. Okay. Bilal says, my name is Bilal and I work as a facility manager with Jumia. All right, perfect. Great. Let's have more people, type in what you do, where you work. Okay, Angela says, I am Jola. All right, let's see more. So guys, please let's have more of that. Let's see what you do. All right. So Hafsat is a social media manager who works remotely. Wardrobe expert says I am a data analyst and going through machine learning and AI course. I desire to work outside Nigeria, most especially Canada, remotely. Perfect. And Jala says I'm an aspiring data scientist, remotely as project and operations intern. He works in Ethiopia, okay, and is from Namibia and a data science student. Perfect. Efiok says, my name is Epeyong, and I work on site in Nigeria as a cooperative management secretary, interested in remote jobs. Okay. And we have Carlos, accountant in Nigeria, working on site. Samuel Philomena, a data analyst. Augustine Amos is a he works in Manchester and is a data science. Perfect. It's so nice getting to know everybody and where everybody works and is joining from. All right, Angela says I'm a data scientist job searching. I'm currently a content creator. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Like I mentioned, this session is going to be an eye-opener and help you see how you can position yourself even better and how you can, enhance your job search and even look beyond the shores of your current location and see the possibilities of being a global talent. So that's what we're treating in this session today, and it promises to be exciting. So if you're joining the Amdari session for the first time, like you've never joined any of our sessions before, can you give me a thumbs up? Like you've never joined, whether it's a practical session or okay. All right, great. So we have this number of people who have not joined any of our session. All right, I'm seeing the thumbs up. I'm seeing all of that. So I'll be doing a brief introduction of Amdari and what we do for the sake of the new guys, and also reintroduction, even if you've learned about Amdari before. I always say this, we're always working behind the scenes to make sure that we bring so much to the table for our data professionals, to bring so much value and things that can benefit and help you get to that next level in your career. So it's just a platform that helps you to keep growing. So all right, okay, I see a lot of new people here. By the way, people are still joining, so as we proceed, they would meet us at the point of you know in the course of the session rather. So let me do a quick demo of Amdari platform. It makes it easier for you to understand exactly what Amdari is doing and offering. Okay. You can still hear me and you can still see me. Just give me a thumbs up. You can still hear me, and all right, great. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, guys, once again for joining. Like I mentioned, Amdari is okay. I've not mentioned that, but yeah. So Amdari is that platform that helps you to gain work experience when you work on real world projects, right? So when you work on real world projects on Amdari across career paths like data science, data analytics, and data engineering, you're able to gain the needed experience because these projects are real world projects, properly curated, and they are guided projects, and they also help you to have that proper hands-on experience that helps you to not just enhance your skill but make you job ready. By enhance your skill, I mean you most likely have gone through the training, you've gained the skill, and you're looking for, I mean, when we were doing the speedy introduction, one of the things that I got to learn about the people on the call is the fact that some are job searching, some are working already, but they are looking for an opportunity to move on to that next level. I think, was it Carlos or one of the people who typed, says that, oh, but he's looking out for an opportunity to work in Canada, right? So these are things that Amdari sets you up for. It sets you up for an opportunity to keep growing and keep leveling up at every point in your career. So this is me saying that Amdari is not just for beginners, but it's also for intermediate and advanced professionals. So it doesn't matter if you're entry level, it doesn't matter if you have a job already, it doesn't matter if you're already, at the top of your career. You don't want to be comfortable and you don't want to be stagnant. So what do you do in that situation? You keep learning. So Amdari is for everybody. So we have projects across career paths like data science, data analytics, and data engineering. And we have Microsoft Excel, Tableau, Looker Studio, AWS, Mage, a lot of tools, tools. And then if you're looking to work on projects across different industries, from energy to manufacturing to FMCG to aviation and all of that, you're able to do all that using the Amdari platform, right? And again, it's not limited to that. One of the other amazing things about Amdari, let me switch to the dashboard. So this user has created an account, right? And from this page, you're able to see the projects that this person is working on, ongoing, completed, and all that. Now, as a new user on Amdari, when you come on Amdari, you have access to 6 free projects under the different career paths that we have. That's 2 under each, right? So in total, it makes it 6. And one of the reasons why Amdari is very important to every, especially if you're even entry level, is the fact that for you to land that job. Now, today's session is going to be talking about how to position yourself right to get visa sponsorship jobs, and where to look, how to search, what you should do in terms of working on yourself and on your portfolio, right? So if you don't have like something to show for it, one of the challenges is it would be hard to be able to tell if you can deliver on a job. But if you've walked the path, you have like a portfolio to show that I have done the work, and based on what I've done before, these are things I learned. This is something I know how to do. This is how I navigated a particular challenge I experienced. You're able to convincingly sell yourself to the recruiter, because at the end of the day, I know people say, oh, there are no jobs out there, but one thing I'll keep saying is there are jobs out there. In fact, if anything, I would say there are no quality talents out there. And why is that? It's because it feels like a lot of professionals relax and they are comfortable, and they are like, okay, I've gained the skill, what else? There is actually so much more that is left to achieve, right? So you just need to keep evolving. That's how you stand out. That's how you have a stellar portfolio. And Amdari helps you do that. And one thing I would always say is, don't take my word for it. Just ask the people who have used Amdari. And I love listening to data professionals who have experienced Amdari and used it, because at the end of the day, one thing they keep talking about is the fact that, based on their pain points of searching the internet for projects to work on, it's either you're seeing projects that are not guided, or they are project that does not really talk about the business problem. It doesn't add context to the business that you're actually even trying to, work around these data sets for. So it's like a poorly set of projects out there, but with the intentionality that we used in putting projects together at Amdari, you are assured of a properly guided project that not just gives you, oh, okay, hands-on experience, but even helps you, do proper documentation and all that. And I'll briefly show you that so that I can move on to the main session of the day. So I mentioned that this is a user dashboard, and you have 6 free projects under data science. Let me expand to view all. You can see 6 free projects. This is 2 under data science, intermediate level. This is 2 under data analytics, intermediate level. And this is 2 under data engineering. As you can see, the label indicates this. Under data engineering, we have 2, beginner level, right? Now you can, easily click here to start the project, but I don't want to do that now. So let me just do this. So you come to the project tab by your left hand panel here. You click on projects. When you click on project, you get redirected to the project page. On this page, you're able to see, you're able to filter, by the way. You can filter by tools. You can see Apache Beam, AWS, Dataflow, Docker. Like I mentioned, we have a lot of tools right here, including R. And level goes from beginner, intermediate, and advanced, like I mentioned. And we have the industry, from energy to logistics and security, banking, agriculture, HR, technology, pharmaceutical. And then there is the specialization aspect, from API to AWS, in batch processing, brand and communication, churn. It's actually a lot. You can see me scrolling, right? So if you select one of these projects for data analytics, you select this project, you get redirected. By the way, before you select a project, one of the things you see is right here, the project contributor. Then you see the industry. Then when you click on start, you view the details of this project, and on the details page, what you're able to see is more about the project you're about to start working on, like how to use Python to perform distribution network analysis. You would get to work with popular Python libraries, etc. And then the key learning points being exploratory data analysis, capacity assessment, network optimization, geographical analysis, and visualization. Pretty much this gives you like a peek into the things that you will be gaining when you start working on the project. And then you scroll down, you can see the business overview slash problem. Tells you what the problem is for this particular business. By the way, these projects are from real businesses. They are not just random. Like I mentioned, one of the feedback we've gotten that really was a good one was the fact that, oh, in comparison to other projects that data professionals typically have access to, Dari projects gives you that proper context into what you're about to get your hands on, right? So it's not just basic, like it's helping you build capacity properly. So this is the business problem. You can see the rationale for the project. You can see the aim of the project, the data description. You can see the tech stack, you can see the project scope and the project contributor. Now, this is what we have before you get started. Then you can click on start project. Because I've already started this project, it shows me continue. So whether you click on start or you click on continue, it's the same thing. You're just redirected to this page. So on this page, I'm able to see my data sets for this project, the data sets I will be working with. So you can see we have 3 data sets for this project. So I'll collapse that back. When you expand the section 1, which is installation and intro video, you're able to see how to install certain tools that you will be using. Like I said, they are guided projects, so you are in, safe hands with Amdari. Then this is the section 2, which is project solution videos. Now, when you click on the first one, for example, and you click on play, it starts by introducing you into the project overview and the business problem briefly, right? So all the videos here just guides you through getting to know more about the business and the. So you can see this is going to this is the flow. It just guides you through the entire process. And when you're done with that, you come, like when you're done watching all of the videos, you come down to submit your project. And for every project you complete, there is a what's it called now? There is a certificate that you generate automatically that certifies that you've worked on this project in this career path, and this is what you have gained. So in addition to your portfolio, you have a certificate to back it up, right? So when you click on submit project, you're redirected to this page, and this page allows you to fill in all of the things that will add to what you have on your portfolio. So you can select the tools you used. You can see that the description and the title has been pre-entered for you, so you don't have to worry about that. All you need to do is just to upload your dashboard images, project file, and all of that, and you're pretty much good to go, right? So you can see all you have here. And when you're done doing that submission, you click, when you're done filling the form, you click on submit and you get redirected to the submit page, sorry, to your portfolio. And this is what your portfolio page looks like. So we're going to be having updates on this in the coming week, so I'm actually excited for that. The portfolio page is even more intentionally built now, and it looks better. So like I said, so just be on the lookout for that. So this is the projects. These are the projects that this user has worked on. You can see projects I've worked on, and this is everything. You can also do like a brief introduction of yourself, and the person gets to just know you and meet you. Then if I click on one of the projects that this user has worked on, for example, I am redirected to this page where I see details around this. So everything regarding that is on this page. You can see my dashboard, you can see my submission to this project, and you can see the problem I solved, the business problem, rationale, aim, and all of those details. So this is what the user portfolio looks like. And again, you can easily copy the link from here, you can see, and you can share the link with a recruiter, or you can put it on your LinkedIn page. And for anybody who is going to be taking a look at your portfolio, they don't need to sign up to even view it. We made it that easy and user friendly. And if you want to just share with anybody on WhatsApp, you can just click here. If you want to share on LinkedIn, you can just click here. If you want to share on Facebook or X, you can just click here, right? Instagram is not added here because it doesn't support, sharing. So we just focus on the platforms that you can easily share your links on. So this is what we have on the Amdari platform. And another exciting aspect of the platform is the job board. So the job board gives you access to a variety of available job openings and listings every day. So you're able to filter and see, oh, okay, what job is available. You can see this job, for example, is this one is with Turing, and this other one, okay, I think they have a lot of vacancies. Then we have TELUS International AI Data Solutions, and they need an online data analyst. And that's how you see different jobs on the platform. I can keep scrolling, and we fetch these jobs every day. So you can be rest assured that you are in actually you're using the right platform for your career. So this is one of the easiest and best ways to even find jobs outside of Nigeria. So this is what the platform looks like. And this is under search. But if you come to For You and you create an account as a data engineer, For You will only tailor the jobs to your, career path. So search is just to give you access to other ones. It doesn't have to be your career path alone. But For You just focuses on your data engineering role or your data science role or your data analytics role. So that's what the platform offers. And it's actually a paid platform. Like I mentioned, the free version gives you access to the platform, to 2 projects per career path, right? While the paid platform gives you access to the platform either monthly or yearly, depending on the plan you're going with. So with the monthly plan, you have access to all the projects on the platform, the job board, the work reference letter, CV review and revamp, and a whole lot more. But I would allow the guests on the session today do justice to every aspect of the of how you can navigate the job market, right? But again, this is what the pricing page looks like. In case you want to take a look, I'll be sharing the website link in the chat shortly. And if you want to do the yearly plan, you get to save 20% and have access to the platform for 12 months. And you can, enjoy the benefits and everything that comes with Amdari for that 1 year. Again, there is also the unlimited plan, which gives you access to the platform for life, right? And the only thing that would always affect you on the unlimited plan is continuous improvement that we bring on Amdari. Pricing does not affect you anymore and all increase in pricing or anything like that. So you just, have access to all the awesomeness for life. So yes, this is Amdari and this is what the platform offers, like I mentioned. So let me switch back so that I can do an introduction of the guest. All right, thank you. So I can do an introduction of the guest and hand over to, all right, just a minute. I'm trying to stop sharing the screen. Okay. So that's the introduction about Amdari and what we do. So permit me to introduce myself. My name is Omoumi Victoria Samson, and I'm the CTO at Amdari. I have over 5 years of experience working in the software engineering space, marketing, and product management. And I have a thing for tech entrepreneurship. So yeah, I have worked in industries across ed tech, film tech, and also marketing. And I'm passionate about using technology to solve reward problems. That's why the problem we're solving at Amdari is that we can make in the life of data professionals. And I'm here for all of that, right? I am after, transformational stories and how people would testify to how Amdari has helped them level up, get a better opportunity, and even transformed their entire career for the better. So that's one of the things that I'm passionate about, and I am glad that we are on that path. And we'll keep doing the work until we get there. So I've already showed us what Amdari does, and we have a lot of users who have benefited from Amdari. You can see them talking about Amdari across social media platforms, showing off their dashboard, because we always encourage building in public and not in isolation. So one of the other things I mentioned earlier is the fact that you generate a certification that confirms that you worked on a project in this career path, which is data analytics, data engineering, or data science, and you worked on XYZ project. So it kind of testifies to your ability as a data professional. Beyond just theory, you have practicalized it, right? So we've helped data professionals land internship placement, and we are also again on the path to do so much more with the different things we're working on the back end at Amdari. And I know in the coming weeks, a lot of people would be excited about amazing things that you'll be hearing us drop, like updates, features, and all that. So yeah. So moving on to the main reason why we're here today, which is to learn how to get visa sponsorship jobs as data professionals. What are those things you need to know? Where should you look? What should you have in your portfolio? How should you work on yourself? All of those things are things you'd be learning from Adeza Suleiman today. Adeza Suleiman is the co-founder of Amdari. He's a technology expert with over a decade experience in data analytics, data science, and management consulting. As the founder of Tenalytics and co-founder of Amdari, Adeza has helped over 2005 people with no prior tech background transition seamlessly and land their first jobs, right? And if you check across social media, I'm definitely assuring you that you would find testimonials attesting to this fact. So it's always amazing to learn from Adeza, trust me. So his experience spans across data science consulting in UK, US, Canada currently. And because of the session we're having today, you can see that you're going to be learning from someone who has been there and done that. Then he's a data analyst, business performance, and by the way, that's where his experience spans across data analytics, business performance, and he worked with Sahara Group as well. So he has worked in sports, financial service, edtech, energy, and automobile sectors. He currently resides in Alberta, Canada, and personally, he has trained over 8,000 participants and helped them transition seamlessly. Thank you so much for being on this with us today, sir. And it's so good to have you on the call. Are you there, sir? Thank you, Kujirat. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Hello, sir. Are you there? Can you hear me? Hello, sir.
Confirm you can hear me or mommy. Can you hear
Oh,
me now?
yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Yeah,
All right.
fantastic. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you
I
for
can
joining
see
us.
some familiar names. Victoria, Victoria Oguche. I can see Esther Olajide. Those names sound very familiar, and I'm super excited to have you join us today. Omomi has walked us through the Abdari platform, but I'll be doing something different. Okay, so why is it even important to you as a data professional, or for somebody who wants to apply to jobs outside your current region? So you are currently in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you're in South Africa. You want to move from your current country into a new country where you can get to work with them as a data professional. Okay, so that's what our session today would center around. And people ask the question, all right, what do you mean by visa sponsored jobs? Okay, and why are they important? Now, visa sponsored jobs are simply employment opportunities where companies across that particular country can hire non-citizens. So you've moved to the UK for your master's, for example. You're about to complete your master's. Perhaps you don't want to apply to a postgraduate work permit. You want to get a job where the company would sponsor you to work in that particular country under a work visa and legally work for them. So they sponsor your visa, give you a certificate of sponsorship if you're in the UK. If you're in the US, you have the H-1B visa and you can get to work with them. Now, these organizations also hire people from their native countries where they reside and bring you over to the US, to the UK, to Canada. And we've had so many people take this route. So I'll show you where to apply and why it's important that apart from just applying, there are a couple of other things you need to do. So Momi has done all the introductions. I'm just going to dive straight into the session we have today. So feel free, drop questions in the chat if you have questions from time to time, and I'll pick them and answer as many questions as possible. Okay, so let's get started. I'll drive my session today using my slide. So I'll just go ahead and share and then would commence our session for today. If you're excited to be here, give me a thumbs up. If you're excited to be here, give me a thumbs up. Now, before we start the presentation, there are certain career paths you must get into for you to have access to these jobs. And I'll focus on three major career paths today and why you should be a part of these career paths. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of transitioning into roles where they really don't have career transitioning opportunities. They transition into roles that will decline in the coming months. And I asked the question, how would you stay relevant in the next 5 to 10 years if you move into a career path that would decline in the next few months or in the next few years? And that's why, number one, what we're going to focus on before we get into the main needs is which career path are in demand. Where you get into this career path, you can rest assured that you stay relevant, you can apply to jobs, and it doesn't matter where you are. Okay, so let's get started with that. And I'll show you all the nitty-gritty of what you have to do in order to get access to these opportunities. I'm just trying to get my screen in order. Just give me 1 second to do that. Okay, fantastic. Now, we do our own internal analysis every single year, end of the year. We scrape data from the major job boards to see where the opportunities would be. In addition to that, we also look at reputable organizations that have done similar analysis and they've charted the path to where the world of work would be in the next 5 to 10 years. So take, for example, I have people come to me to say, I'm a product manager, or I'm currently a banker. I want to get a job in product management. Product management is fantastic, right? But according to the World Economic Forum, the product management career path is in decline. The product managers, this career path is in decline. So you have the World Economic Forum that have shown us since 2016 till date. They released this report called the Future of Jobs Report from 2016, 2018, 2020, and every single other year. They released this report to show us the career path that would grow and the career path that would decline. So my question is, would you love to get into a career path that is on the decline? If the answer is yes, give me a thumbs up. If the answer is no, give me a thumbs down. And I'm sure nobody wants to get into a career path that will decline in the next few years. And that's why you must make this decision based on an educated research and also based on data that you've seen on where the world of work would be. So people would ask that, why is the World Economic Forum even important? Why should we listen to them? So they comprise of the world leaders. The forum itself is comprised of the world leaders, okay? The captains of industries. So your Jeff Bezos, your Bill Gates, Elon Musk, the biggest of the biggest organizations, you have their CEOs as part of this particular forum. You have your politicians, you have your influencers, and so on and so forth. Now, they are the ones charting the way forward. You see the trend in AI today. It didn't happen, all of a sudden. It was a plan to get into this space. Over about 7 years ago, there's been a lot of traction within the space, and everybody knew that this is where the world is going. So we need to listen. And they've been very accurate since 2016 when they first released the Future of Jobs report. So what I've done is I've also kept the link for you right here. So at the end of today's session, for those that stay till the end, you'll receive my slide with all the links and you have access to read the report yourself. But let's look at the report in detail and let's see the career path that would grow. Like I said, the left-hand side are the career path that would grow, the right-hand side are the career path that would decline. Okay, nobody wants to be here. We all agree. So when you look at those career paths at the right-hand side, you start to think, how do I transition? How do I pivot? I don't want to make the mistake of getting into a space where in the next few years, I start to look for how to change and move into a more progressive career path. Number one in the career path that would grow, you'd see the AI machine learning specialist. And these are your data scientists, your typical data scientists. I saw people type in the chat when Omar asked, and a couple of you are currently learning machine learning. You're currently doing data science, and this is where your career path would fit into. Okay, you have the business intelligence analyst, and these are your data analysts. Business intelligence is a derivative of data analytics. So you have the skills as a data analyst, you can apply to jobs as a business intelligence analyst. You also have the data analysts and the data scientists explicitly written. So if you look at the top 6, you'd see that you have 50% of the top 6 career paths that would grow are within the data analyst and the data science career path. That's very, very instructive. Now, you look at the other career path, the big data specialists. These are the people that handle the big data, they store the big data, they manage and make the data easily accessible to people that need to use this data. You have the data engineers, and then you have the database architects. All these 3 career paths fall under where? Data engineering. So again, if you look at the top 15 career paths that would grow in demand, you have the data analysts, you have the data scientists, and then you have the data engineer role. Very important for us to take note of this. Now, like I said earlier, I've had so many people, they decide to make this change when it's a bit late. Oh, I've just completed product management. I spent X amount of money to go through the training. Now I'm looking to get a job. Well, I try to advise and say, hey, you are there already. What I'll advise you to do is, as you plan to get a job in this space, start acquiring and upskilling in other areas where there will be growth and relevance for your role in the next few years. Okay, you'd also see organizational development specialists. You'd see the training and development specialists, your HR professionals, and so on and so forth. You don't want to be on this left-hand side. All right, now you also have the database and the network professionals. These are your data engineers. You have the supply chain and logistics specialists. Within this space, you also find your data analysts and your data scientists. So it's very clear where the world is going. And it's no surprise if you do the research. 90% of the data we have in the world today, the entire data since the existence of the world, 90% was generated in the last 5 years. So just think about that. Between 2019 and 2024, we've generated 90% of the data that exists. So organizations are looking for professionals who can manage that data, store that data, structure the data, make the data accessible and available, and they need professionals who can analyze that data, extract insights from the data to make sense, because the data is useless if you can't analyze or extract valuable information from the data. Okay, so that's why you want to be in the in-demand career path. So if you're a data analyst, you're a data scientist, you're a data engineer, you are in demand. Organizations are looking for you. Organizations want you. And the question I always ask people is, why do you hide? Or why do you make it difficult for organizations to find you? You might not know you're making it difficult for them to find you, but I'll show you how you are unconsciously, unknowingly making it difficult for organizations to find you. So you have people apply to jobs and they can't get these jobs. They get rejections. Unfortunately, we can't go forward with you, and so on and so forth. They go into interviews, but they can't get past the interviewing stage. What are you doing wrongly? And this is what I'll explain, and I'll show you how to get past it, especially for those trying to get visa sponsorship. All right, so as a data analyst, make no mistake, you don't just have to apply to jobs in data as a data analyst. So when you start to search, There are so many other roles. The business intelligence analyst, for example, you can apply to jobs as a sales analyst, as a database administrator. So for the gentleman who said, hey, I'm trying to get a job in Canada. In Canada, for example, the nomenclature for the data analyst is the database administrator. Clearly, that's the way they, the code they use for the data analyst. So if you're in Canada, for example, you want to get a data analyst job and all you're searching for is data analyst, you'd see just a few roles, especially if that part of the platform you're using is not intelligent enough to help you search a broader category of jobs when you've entered just data analyst. So it's important for you to know this. All right. So you can apply to so many jobs within the space. We've had people who got jobs as pathology data analyst. Pathology data analyst. Some, job roles, job titles you'd never imagine exist. Market data analyst, and so on and so forth. But how do you find these jobs? Okay, so I'm going to talk about that today. Same with the data science role, same with the data engineering role. All right, as a data engineer, you learn the skill, you have the skills. You can get a job as a cloud engineer using either one of the three major cloud platforms, AWS, Azure, GCP. You can get a job as an ETL developer, and so on and so forth. Now, the question is, I'm a data analyst. I've been trying to get jobs, but I've struggled. I've tried to get jobs abroad. I've applied to remote jobs, but I just can't get access to these opportunities. What am I doing wrongly? And what do I need to start doing? Or where can I even find these jobs? Okay, so I'll be sharing that in the next few slides. For me, I got my very first job working for a company in the US back in Nigeria. I was in Nigeria at that time, and I think that was in 2016. I got my very first job in the US working on a project as a data analyst with them. And since then, it's been from one organization in the US to the UK and so on and so forth before I left Nigeria and moved to the UK. But how did I get these opportunities? Where did I apply? How was I able to get these jobs? How did I prepare for the interview? Okay, what stood me out from so many other professionals who applied to the same job? Why was I selected? Why did they want to listen to me? Okay, so we're going to talk about that. So where do you find these visa-sponsored jobs? We've all agreed that the visa-sponsored jobs are the jobs where the organization is willing to sponsor your visa, give you a work permit, give you a skilled worker visa, or in the UK, for example, you get a COS, a certificate of sponsorship, and you use that to apply to the Home Office to get your skilled Tier 2 skilled worker visa. You can get that job opportunity, get the COS, move from Nigeria, and move to the UK. But how do you do this, and where do you find these jobs? So I'm going to share some popular job sites where you can get access to these type of opportunities. And that's the essence of our session today. We're going to look at the US, Canada, and the UK. However, if you want to get jobs, because some of you want to get jobs in Europe, you want to move to Germany, you want to move to Poland, and so on and so forth, where can you also access these opportunities? One major problem that job seekers face, especially job seekers looking to move abroad through a sponsored visa, is you apply using the generic platforms. You apply using LinkedIn, you apply using Glassdoor, Indeed, Remote.co, and so on, the conventional platforms. All right, if you apply using the conventional platforms, can you get access to these jobs? Yes, you can. However, you would have applied 5 times more than that person who has access to a paid website. So you have paid websites where you have to subscribe to get access to these jobs. Most visa-sponsored jobs are hosted across multiple websites that you have to pay for, because these organizations have also spent time, effort, scraping this data, collaborating with companies and getting these jobs available. So you're not going to get it for free. All right. But this is where Amdari comes into play. So for us at Amdari, what we've done is we've subscribed to these platforms for you. And we've made these jobs available for free on our job boards. Okay. For example, Visa Jobs HQ is paid. For you to get jobs, apply to those jobs and everything, you need to pay for Visa Jobs HQ. Same with UK Visa Jobs. This is also paid. Same with Job Rights, it's also paid. So when you look at, and I didn't want to put too many paid platforms because I want at the end of today's session for you to take your learnings and start applying them immediately. So how can you still access these opportunities without paying? For those of you who won't be joining Amdari, but for those of you that will be joining Amdari eventually, you'd have the opportunity to have access to these jobs for free. And for every single person I know that has gotten numerous opportunities, I know somebody in Nigeria, for example. I personally mentored this person. He's in Abuja. He works as a data scientist for a company in the US called Chow 420. He got this job early last year in 2023. And so he's been there for just about 1 year. Okay. He got another opportunity, another job offer from another company in the US. And he told his manager, his line manager, that look, I have this offer. I'm looking to leave because this looks very good and so on. And do you know what they did? They gave him an increase. He's currently an assistant manager managing other professionals. He has Indians reporting to him, and he has other people reporting to him. And this is how far he's been able to come just within the space of a year. So how did he get those jobs? How was he able to get jobs that were willing to offer him fantastic salary, and he used that as a leverage to even up his salary? So we're going to look at these websites one after the other. And I'll start with the H1B info. Okay, so like I said, I've kept the links to all these websites so you have access at the end of today's session. So H1B info is where you have access to all the companies that have petitioned for a H1B visa for an employee in the US. And what does that mean? It simply means I'm in Nigeria, I've applied to a job, this company wants to hire me. For me to come to the US to work for this company, the company needs to petition for a H1B visa. Essentially, they would show to the US government that hiring you and bringing you into the country would have no negative impact on the job market in the US. And this is how a whole lot of professionals get these jobs and move to the US on a work visa, a work permit, through the H1B visa. You also have access to the jobs that have the highest frequency of H1B petitions. So you can see clearly, if I'm a data analyst, do I have access to have companies petitioned for the H1B visa for a data analyst role? Have they done it for the data scientist, for the data engineer? But let's go and let's look at the website and let's see what it looks like. Sometimes H1B can be quite slow. Okay, so we'd have to take it. So let's see, I think it's coming up fast right now, but just in case you're trying to open it up yourself and it's a bit slow, don't fret, keep on refreshing and you'll have access eventually. Now, so this is what the website looks like. If you scroll down a little bit, you'd see the top H1B sponsors in 2024. So the organizations, the number of H1B petitions they have filed. You have the top H1B jobs, the job roles, and you'd see clearly you have the software engineer, the software developer, your senior software engineer, you have the data engineer, you have the data scientist as well. So you can clearly see that if, for example, you are in a career path where you have no chance, you go to all list, view all list, and you can't see your specific job title here, then don't waste your time. You would struggle to get any organization to petition for a H-1B visa for you. So you also have the top cities as well. All right. So what we're going to do easily is let's check out the jobs, the job titles um, where people have petition, organizations have petitioned for these particular roles. Okay, so I'm just checking the chart for a question that somebody sent that distracted me a bit. How did you hear about this masterclass? Okay, I think that's just a survey coming up or something. So let's click on view all and let's see what we get. So this is 2024. 2024 is still about 8 months worth of data right here. But let's go back to 2023 and see. So you start to know clearly, what should I focus on? Am I on the right path? And so on and so forth. So you can see the software engineer, that's the highest number of H-1B visas issued. The software developer, and so on. If you scroll down a little bit, you'd see the analyst. Okay, so they haven't clearly indicated what type of analyst. Is it a data analyst, financial analyst, and so on? You have the data engineer, you have the data scientist, and if you scroll down, you'd see other job roles available as well. And you can move through the list and see the different jobs, the business analysts, and so on and so forth. Okay, and you start to see where the opportunities are. Okay, so if you look at the first page and you see the number of petitions filed for the analysts, for the data engineer, for the data scientist, it becomes clear where you need to be. Okay, now let's assume I want to apply to a company. I'm applying to get a visa sponsored job in the US, and I'm a data scientist, for example, and I click on data scientist. So this would show you all the companies that filed in the year 2023, filed petitions for data scientists in the year 2023. You can see the city name, the average salary, and so on and so forth. Okay, you have Google, Snowflake, Intuit, Cloudflare, and so on and so forth. You can keep on rolling through the script, rolling through the sheets and the different pages, and you'd see these organizations and where they have hired from, and so on and so forth. Okay, now let's go back to the home page. What I want to show you is when applying, you want to do this and be strategic. You can't go the conventional route, do everything everybody else is doing and get a different result. You get similar results to what they're getting, which is rejections, unfortunately. So if you look at the top H-1B sponsors, we click on view all, you can see the companies that petition. So imagine you have a company like Ernst & Young, petitioned over 1,749 in 2024 alone, and you go apply to another organization that have petitioned for just two H-1B, made just two H-1B petitions. Which of the two do you think would give you that opportunity? The one that's petitioned the highest number of H-1B visas, and that's what you want to focus on. For Tata Consulting Services, both in the UK and in the US, they sponsor a whole lot. So you want to look at this list and start from there. If they have petitioned for other people, they will petition for me as well. Okay, so you pick one of the companies. For example, I want to apply to become a data engineer. I want to apply to become a data scientist. I want to apply to become a data analyst. Okay, so I'm just going to go to, let's take Meta Platforms. So I'll go to Google, open a new tab, and I'll simply type Meta Platforms jobs. So you can go to LinkedIn and do this. Search for Meta Platforms, go to that job category, or you just simply do this on Google and search. Now, when you search, you'd see the Meta careers, Meta Platform careers, job openings, and so on. And I'm going to right click, open a new tab, and see the job openings they have available. Can I apply to these jobs? Do I have the skills to apply to these jobs? And so on and so forth. Now you can break this down by the type of work, the area of work you want to do. Okay, so let's expand this a little bit. Now we are in the data space, right? So I'm going to click on data and analytics. Data and analytics. And for most organizations, they have a career page. At the worst, if they don't have a career page, what do? Go to LinkedIn and search. All right. I'm going to show you different strategies. So go to LinkedIn and search. So this is Meta Platforms. Here they have openings for a data scientist, product analytics. And guess what? They're not hiring for just one role. You'd see 10 locations. So they're hiring a lot. And if you get into an organization like this, you're likely going to get a visa sponsored job because they can petition for you to come around. And we're going to get to that. What leads to an organization to take that responsibility and be confident enough to file a H-1B petition for you? You must have something to offer. And that's where I say a lot of people hide, because these organizations don't know how good you are. They don't know what you've done. And this is where Andari comes in. But I'll speak about that later once we know where to apply and how to apply. All right. So I click on data scientist, product analytics. Let's look at the job. Let's look at the job title, the job description, the requirements. Okay. So you're simply going to work with large, complex data. Let's go to the minimum qualifications. All right. Bachelor's degree, mathematics, statistics, relevant technical field, or equivalent practical experience. Now, I'm going to emphasize on this, and I want you to write it down. Okay. Equivalent practical experience. So if I don't even have a degree, but I can show that I have practical experience doing the things you want me to do, I can get this job. Okay, minimum of 4 years experience in analytics or minimum of 2 years with a PhD. Experience in data query language, e.g. SQL, structured query language, Python, or R. And that's pretty much all they need from you in terms of the tools, the technologies that you will be bringing on board to helping them do amazing work. Okay, so this is the data scientist role. We can check the data engineering. There's so many other roles, product analytics, director of data engineering, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can check any of the roles. You look at the job description, the job requirements. Somebody's saying they can't see my screen. I believe my screen is showing, and you should be able to see my screen. Okay, you should be able to see my screen. So minimum qualifications, same thing. You'd see equivalent practical experience. So don't bother. If anybody ever bothered about education, nobody will get a job. My very first data job, they wanted somebody who had experience in business intelligence, experience in so many things. My first degree was in industrial chemistry. I'm an industrial chemist. I'm a chemist. I studied industrial chemistry in the university, but I've been in the data space. I've worked as a data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, MIS analyst, business data analyst, and so on and so forth. Okay, so how did I get that job? Even though I studied industrial chemistry and they wanted somebody with education in business intelligence. And this is where your project is very, very important. If you don't have project, practical experience, showing that you've done it before, what is more convincing? Speaking to you or showing you that, look, I've done this before, this is what I've done. Here is a link to what I've done. Click on it, look at it, check it out, and you decide if I can do this job or not. And that was how I was able to secure jobs, working on projects. I was in financial services, I moved to energy. I had zero knowledge in energy, zero experience in energy, but they hired me as an MIS analyst, working with one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa. How did I get that job? I was an assistant manager. That was the level they offered me for somebody who has no experience in energy, in the energy sector. And the reason why I was able to get that job is simple: working on projects. So I had projects that showed that I've done stuff within that space. I could speak about the sector because I had worked on projects on that particular sector. So that opened up so many opportunities for me now. And that's why the equivalent practical experience is very important. So you need experience with what? SQL, ETL, data modeling, or one programming language, and Python. I always tell people, as a data engineer, data scientist, if you have to choose between Python and R, always go for Python. Python is more robust, Python is more comprehensive, and it's easier, and it's more fun to use Python compared to R. R is statistical and usually academic for research and so on and so forth. So you can see what this role entails. And this is where you go ahead and you start to apply for these type of jobs. Okay, you read what it's all about, how do I apply, and you go ahead and apply. Now, where you start to ask for the H-1B sponsorship is where you can show them that you can do the job that they want you to do. If you can't show them this, there is no way. If you hide and they can't find you, they can't see you, they can't see what you've done, you'll never get this job. Now, this is one strategy you can take. Going into the H1B info, fantastic platform, looking for companies that have petitioned in the past and check them out, as many as possible. Qualcomm, Grandison, Fidelity Technologies, NVIDIA, ByteDance, Amazon, Uber Technologies, Deloitte, and so on. So for some of you who are probably working in Nigeria, you work with Deloitte or Ernst & Young or PwC or KPMG or BCG, McKinsey, you can easily apply to these organizations abroad and you get these opportunities. And that's how you start to open up those chances that people don't know exist, and you get better results at the end of the day. Now, this is one strategy. Now, my gift to you in the year 2024 is using JobRite. For those of you that don't have access to JobRite, you want to do this. All right. And this is the value you always get from Amdari every single time. And like I said, if you need to get a job, you can't do everything everybody else is doing. You have to be different. You have to do things differently and approach the process in a more strategic way. Now, JobRite is going to be my gift to you. JobRite is not free. It is paid. But the jobs you have in there, tailored to your experience and tailored to the type of work you are looking to get, we have made those subscriptions and we make those jobs available. Okay, so I'll show you what JobRite looks like and how to access JobRite. So if I click on this, it takes me to okay, I'm going to use my other browser. Just give me 1 second. So if I click on the link, it takes me to JobRite. Okay, now why is JobRite important? JobRite would show you the match, how well you match that particular job you're trying to get. So when you're signing up to JobRite, you have you're going to upload your resume. You would have tailored the resume, made adjustments to it. So how do you know the best way to adjust your resume? And that's part of the services you also get with Amdari. So being a part of Amdari, you have your CV set, you have your CV review, you have your LinkedIn optimization. So you have your LinkedIn optimized, you have your CV reviewed, and all you need to do is upload that CV right here. Now, when you're also, signing up, the sign up process would require that you make some, certain selections. So you want to make sure you enter the job title you're trying to get. So JobRite is more intelligent in terms of its ability to search for wider roles within a particular space. So you enter the data analyst, what type of jobs are you looking for? You want to select full-time because these are the jobs that will give you the sponsorship. Where are you looking to get those jobs? Within the US. Are you open to remote opportunities? Yes. And make sure you select the work authorization, H-1B sponsorship. Very, very important. All right. So when you select the H-1B sponsorship, the type of jobs you receive, the type of matches you get, and recommendations will be tailored to the type of job you've selected. While you can change this later on, but selecting it while you start is always very fantastic. Now, I want to apply to data engineering roles or to data science roles. All I need to do is come in here. You have the Orion, Copilot, and I'll just simply type, just like I'll type on ChatGPT. I want to apply to data scientist roles. Okay, and I hit enter. Okay, and I'll get a feedback, updated my preferences, and I'll click on go. The moment I click on go, I'll start to get different types of jobs. And from here, I can see the match. By how well do I match this particular job? 68% is not good. 65% is not good. 80% is a bit fair. So the question now is, how do I make this better? Okay, now you'd see a lot of director, and the reason why you see director tailored to me is because of my experience. So on the CV I uploaded, it has about 10 years experience or thereabouts. So, and this is where you tailor your own CV to the type of jobs you want to get. And that's where you start to get jobs tailored to you specifically. Okay, so all I need to do, if I want to apply to this job, for example, I can click on this. Okay, it opens up the job role. What does it entail? Where do I lack specific requirements that I can make adjustments to increase my 80%? I want this to get to 90. I want it to get to 95. And that's the only way you're going to get called for an interview. So the job match is very important. Now imagine somebody wants to date a lady who has dark hair, natural hair, light-skinned, and all of that. And he sees a lady with dark hair, which is what he wants, but dark-skinned, not light-skinned. So you'd be a bit, skeptical. Do I want to go for this person or not? And that's why you want the match to be as high as possible. So when they see you, they know that you are the one for them, and they bring you into the room. And once you have the opportunity to get into the room, you've solved 50% of the problem. Okay, so most people can't get the interviews. That's the challenge. And this is how you start to solve that problem. So you can come here, for example, generate custom resume, and you start to make adjustments to the areas where you have issues. For example, based on the CV I uploaded, the job title, I don't have anything that says or looks like director, data science, and all of that. Years of experience, they want somebody with 10 years. I included 8 years plus industry experience. There are other areas where I need to adjust. For example, enterprise software, photo editing, the skills. I met a whole lot of the skills apart from cloud platforms and analytical skills. Okay, and in my my profile summary, I really haven't tailored it to fit this particular job. So by the time I make adjustments to the things I have here, what happens? It increases my percentage match. And from there, I can apply to this job, get called for an interview, and I have access to these type of opportunities. So it's very, very important. So like I said, you can do all the things I just showed you right now. You can do the same. However, you get to a stage where they would request for you to pay. It will no longer be free. You can't make all those adjustments and all of that without paying for the platform. So what we also do is we ensure that we make the jobs available to you, all the jobs you have here. So by the time you have no access anymore and you can't apply, we make these jobs available to you. We help reviewing your CV. You have the standard CV format to get into any opportunity, and we show you how to tailor your job, how to tailor your CV to job requirements to increase your percentage match. All right. And finally, you also have your LinkedIn optimization. So Job Rights is absolutely phenomenal. You can read about the company right here. You have access to the hiring man, the leadership team. For some of the jobs, you have access to the hiring manager. And looking at this already, you can tell that the hiring manager is likely this lady called Anjul Bambri, the senior vice president, Adobe Experience Cloud. This is likely the hiring manager. So most of these opportunities, you see the hiring manager, you can go on LinkedIn and send them a message. You've applied to this job. These are your skills. Your elevator pitch. You enter your elevator pitch and then you get it across to them. Okay? Always remember, you can't do things the conventional way, what everybody else is doing, and get access to these type of job opportunities. It's impossible. You have to do things differently. And that's why, and that's where you start to get success stories. You see people that have done this and they have been able to get amazing results at the end of the day. So I'm not going to spend too much time. Like I said, I'll share my link with you. I don't want to keep you here for too long. Okay, I'm going to move to Canada and then I'll move to the UK. Leverage H1B info. Visa Door is very similar to H1B info. The only difference is H1B info is more updated when it comes to the recency of the data. Okay, but you can check Visa Jobs, check Simply Hired is another fantastic platform that you can use to apply to these jobs. Now, if you're in Canada, you can also use Visa Jobs HQ. I'm going to show you this last. Okay, it's a paid platform. And for anybody who wants to get a job in Canada, you want to get a job across Europe, Germany, and the rest, Visa Jobs HQ is a fantastic platform for you. Okay, now Canada would want you, the Canadian government would want the organization to provide something called the Labor Market Impact Assessment, the LMIA assessment. LMIA. What does the LMIA mean? LMIA simply means the Labor Market Impact Assessment. So the organization would have to apply and prove that hiring you would have either a positive impact or a neutral impact on the Canadian economy. So hiring you would not hinder other people, other Canadian citizens, permanent residents from accessing these jobs. So organizations go ahead and do this, but they don't just do it for anybody. They do it for the people that bring value to the company. I've sat down with a couple of hiring managers, a couple of organizations when I moved to Canada this year, and they say the same thing. For every Nigerian that work in the organization, for every South African, for every Indian, they offer the LMIA. They had something to offer the company that they couldn't easily find anywhere. And I'll tell you that, what couldn't they easily find? They couldn't find people that had the skills and experience to do the job. And I can bet that we have so many data engineers, data analysts, data scientists that have the skills, and they have the skills, but probably don't have the experience. But the question is, how do you get that? And how do you position yourself for those opportunities? Because when you look at it, it's nothing nobody can get. We looked at the Meta platforms. You saw the requirements. Pretty straightforward. So how do you bridge that gap to apply to that job? If you don't have 4 years experience working on the role, if you don't have 2 years, if you don't have a PhD, How do you show them you have the practical experience to do the job? And that's where your project comes in. Like I said, we'll speak about that later. Now, I've kept the link to the LMIA lists. Remember, you have to be strategic. You're not just going to go ahead and start applying to any type of job available out there. No, you will take your time, go through the list, see the companies that have filed for LMIAs and got positive LMIAs from the government to bring in people to work for them. You'd also see the roles and the job titles that they filed for, so you know exactly what you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to click on this link. It will take us to the Canadian government website, where you'd have the temporary foreign worker program. Okay, the positive LMIA impact assessment employer list. You want to scroll all the way to the bottom, and that's where you have, so the most recent data they have here is Q1 2024. Okay, so you have the English and then you have the French. All right, if you can speak French, you're somebody from Cameroon and so on, you can get access to this. But we're going to click on this, which is for the English. So this is from January to March 2024. So if I click on this, it takes me to where I can download the file. It's an Excel file that has all the lists of employers, the province, and the jobs where they got a positive LMIA from the government. Okay, so I click on this, it downloads the file for me, and I can open up that file after it's completed. So I click on that, it opens up the file. So let's see what it looks like. Let's see what the list looks like. So this is the list. If you can see my Excel, give me a thumbs up before I go ahead. If you can see my Excel, give me a thumbs up. Fantastic. So we're on the same page. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so what you have here, somebody's saying they can't see my, I think it's just a network. Okay. Please, where did you go to? It's on the slide. I have the link. I'll give you the link. I'll share the link with you. Don't worry. Wardrobe experts. I'll share that with you. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to check the occupation. So here you have the province, the territory, the program, people that came in through the global talent stream, those that came through the high wage, the low wage, the primary agriculture. So you have different programs. All right. You have the employers, you have the address, you have the occupations, incorporation status, the approved LMIAs, and the approved number of positions. Okay, so what I'm going to do very quickly is to type and search. So I'd come in here and I would put in a filter. Okay, so I insert a filter on top of that so I can filter easily. I click on that filter and I type the job I want to apply for. So I want to apply to data analyst roles. Okay, I want to apply to data analyst roles. So I type data. Now, remember what I said earlier. In Canada, you don't have, or you don't see the data analyst clearly indicated. You would see those roles, but they're not very common. You'd see the data administrators, the database administrators, and so on. So we can see we have data entry clerks, data analysts, and data administrators. If you're applying to a data analyst role or even a data science role, you want to select this option. Okay, so I'm going to deselect the data entry because I'm not looking for that. It's probably a low wage, not probably, it is a low wage stream. So I'm not going to click on data entry. I'd leave it on the database analyst, click on OK. All right, so I'll see the different occupations. Okay, now I'm simply going to go to the approved LMIAs and approved positions, and I want to sort from the highest to the lowest. So I'd come in here, click on the drop down, and sort from the largest to the smallest. Okay, so I can see the companies that have filed between January to March and I can see the jobs for the database analyst, and I can see the approved LMIAs, and I want to start my search from here, the name of the companies. And it's pretty similar strategy. It is painstaking, no doubt about it. Applying to get a job like this is painstaking. If it were that easy, everybody would be doing it. But because a lot of people don't do it, the few of you that start doing this will start to see the results. Okay? But you don't want to do this without having, your project, your own side, the part of your own side, you don't have it properly completed. You haven't done your own homework. So you don't want to be in that position where you go into interviews and you fumble because you don't have the things you need to get done, properly done. So now let's take the first company we have here, Alton Canada. Okay, so I'll go on LinkedIn quickly. So we open up LinkedIn. You can do this on Google, search for the company on Google, and you can check. But like we've done Google already when we search for the Meta platforms. So here I'll go on LinkedIn, and what I'm going to do is I'll search for the name of that company. Okay, so I'll search for the name of the company. I'll come in here and type Alton Canada, right? So I'll type Alton, and I can see the company right here. I'll click on it. It takes me to their page. I click on that again, or click on view page. Okay, and I have access to the company's page. Now, I want to see the jobs that they have, so I click on jobs. You can read about them, read on about, check their posts, but I'm interested in jobs, right? So I click on jobs. Now, they currently have about 2,952 job openings. Like, scroll down a little bit, I'll see some of the roles that they have. All right, but from here I can also see clearly that the roles cut across multiple locations, not just one location. But why is that brilliant for us? It's brilliant because I could apply to that job from Nigeria, and the same company can sponsor me to Spain, for example, because you can see this junior business analyst role in Spain. You can see the junior business analyst role in Milan. You can see the Power BI developer role in Canada. Okay, so I want to see all the jobs. So I go to show all jobs, and it showed me all the jobs available from this particular organization. Okay, so we can see the one for Canada. I click on this. It's a BI developer role, a Power BI developer role. And I'm going to scroll down. It was posted about 4 days ago, and you have over 100 people applying already. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Sorry. So here you have French, because this company is in Canada, but in Quebec. In Quebec, Montreal, they're predominantly French. They speak French, so English is the second language. Now you have, I'm going to scroll down to where you have it in English. And now let's look at what they want from you. Okay, your responsibilities or the skills required. Let's go to the skills required and responsibilities. We are looking for BI developers with experience managing suppliers. You are known for soft skills. Your soft skills should be autonomy, meaning that you can work on your own. You don't need to be micromanaged, somebody to work, tell you what to do. Take initiative. You are a self-starter, all right? And you work hard. Bachelor's degree with 4 years experience, okay? Or 2 years experience in analysis. So they are saying if you have a bachelor's degree with 4 years in analysis, master degrees, and 2 years experience in analysis, all this you see here can be substituted with experience. How well you can do that job and proof that you've done the job before, okay? Now here you also have experience in BI development using Power BI. So as a BI developer, as a BI analyst, a business intelligence analyst, and I've said this at the beginning when I showed you the different job roles you can apply to as a data analyst. Business intelligence is one of them. This role is a BI developer role. And what technologies do they want from you? Power BI and SQL. Okay, the DAX code, these are DAX that you write within the Power BI environment. DAX simply means data analysis expressions. For those of you who have used Excel before, you'd have written formulas, used functions. In Power BI, you use DAX. Okay, so they want you to just simply know SQL and DAX. Okay, you can look at the other different job roles and see what they want from you, what you can apply to, what are the skills, the experience, and so on and so forth. And you realize that you can actually apply to this job, give them the best of yourself, and eventually get the opportunity and land this job. So this is one, and you'd see that from the list right here. Okay, out in Canada, you have Momentum Technologies as well. So if you do the same thing, you go online on LinkedIn, you search. Okay, we go back to our search, and this time around, we are searching for Momentum Technologies. Momentum. Okay, I think it came out just the other time. Momentum Technologies. So you see that right there. Okay, so you can check, go to the jobs they have available, click on jobs, and you would also see what they have. Analyst, programmer, that's a Power BI analyst, a business intelligence analyst, a BI architect. So these are the jobs they have available. You can go ahead and apply to these jobs. So this is the strategy you can leverage while in Canada to have access to LMIA jobs, because these are the jobs that would sponsor you from your country. You move to Canada and work in Canada with a work permit. All right, you come to Canada with a work permit. Now, that's one option. Another option is to use the Job Bank, which is the Canadian government website again. All right, the government of Canada's website, where you have access to search for these jobs. So if I click on this, it takes me to the website of the government where I can find a new job in Canada, search from Canadian employers, and these employers have already obtained or applied for LMIA. So I'm not going to even look for them. I have jobs from these employers. I can click on search and I can start to do my search for these type of job roles. Okay, but this website is not as comprehensive as you making use of this list. It's not always updated to hold or they don't update with jobs on a regular basis as compared to you going into this list, searching for the company and checking the jobs they have available today. All right, so these are the strategies you can deploy. One other thing in Canada you must also take into consideration is, apart from just applying, you must also take it a step further and let people know what you want. Okay, so you leverage different platforms, recruitment agencies, and these are agencies. I've worked with Michael Page, for example, and Hayes. At Tenalytics, we've worked with these two companies, and we've worked helping people move from Nigeria into Canada and so on and so forth. Now, these are companies that do what? They hire people from across different regions, helping you get those LMIA jobs. Okay, so what you can do for anybody on the call today, you can start this today. Go to Michael Page Canada, Island Recruiting, Hayes, Outposts. Go to their website, search them on Google, go to their website, build a profile, and upload your CV. Most of them would have the feature for you to upload your CV. So upload your CV, create a profile, and don't stop. Place a phone call. Place a phone call through to them, get across to them, and let them know what you're looking for. I'm currently in Nigeria. I'm a data science expert, machine learning experience. I have 5 years experience within the space. I've created my profile. I want to move to Canada, get an LMIA job, and I want to know how you can help me do that. Let them know they want you just as much as you want them. Okay? So they want you, make no mistake, because for every single person they bring into the country, they get paid significant amount of money. They get paid to bring in people who are competent and can get the job done. All right. So they are not really doing you a favor, but they are simply working to earn a living and to earn money. All right. So when they get somebody like you that will get that job, they get paid for doing it. So organizations reach out to these reputable agencies to help them get candidates that can do the job for them. Okay, so reach out to these agencies after creating your profile, uploading your CV, reach out to them and get them to know what you want, what's your objective. So they place you into a bucket and make opportunities available for you. All right, like I said, a lot of people won't do this. Most people won't do it. Most people won't. The few that do are the ones that get the results. So you can't do the same thing everybody else is doing and get a different result. All right? Always very important. Now, let's go to the UK. The UK is one of my favorites. And the reason why the UK is one of my favorites is simply because, apart from the fact that I've lived in the UK, I've worked in the UK has numerous resources. For if you ask me today, Adeza, out of these three countries you've mentioned, which of them can you tell me categorically that I can start applying to jobs aggressively, doing the right things, working with a mentor that would, tell me all the things I need to know and what to do, and I'll get a job in the next few months. I'll tell you the UK. Okay, I'll tell you the UK. The resources are immense. The job opportunities are fantastic. But the problem a lot of people have, like I said, they are hiding and companies cannot find them. Okay. Now, for those in the UK, for those who want to work in the UK, live in Nigeria, work for companies in the UK, or move from Nigeria to working for companies in the UK under the tier 2 skilled worker visa. Okay, how do you do this and how do you get access to these opportunities? I'm going to be a bit fast because of time. Okay, but I'll tell you every single thing you need to do. Now, using UK visa jobs as an example, this is where you get access to numerous jobs within the UK, clearly crafted and curated for you. So you don't need to go to too many places looking for these opportunities because you have them in one single location. But it's not free. You have to pay a monthly subscription for it. Like I said at the beginning, the platforms where you have immense value, you'd have to make payment for them. But what we've done at Amdari is we've made all these payments already. So we have access to the jobs. So you don't have to worry about them. Okay, so I'll show you the UK visa jobs, how you can access. So you can go to the website today, you can check it out and see how to, work with the website, get job opportunities and so on. But for you to apply and do all the things you need to do, or even search, they restrict you at some point and want you to subscribe. So if I click on UK visa jobs, it takes me to the website. And like I said, you apply for students, graduates, and experienced higher jobs with visa sponsorship in the UK. So there are numerous opportunities. If I come in here and go to search jobs, okay, search jobs, it's going to open up into where I can search for the type of jobs that I want. And these jobs are visa sponsored. Okay, so how can you also get access? So it takes a bit it takes a while to come up, but it's going to come up in the next few seconds. And I'll show you how you can search for these jobs and start applying to these jobs. Okay, so let's wait for it to come up and then we'll do our search. So if you use the UK visa jobs today, you'd get access to the platform. You can use the platform, but the problem is once you search for a while, I think if you search for about 3, 4, 5 times, they start to restrict you and you can't search for more jobs again. You can just go to the home page X until you pay. Now, so you have over 12,000 roles available of visa sponsorship. So let's search. Let's check a data science role, data scientist. Okay. And let's search for the data scientist job and let's see. So here you have about 13 visa sponsored jobs, right? Arcadis is currently hiring for a graduate data scientist. You have a team lead, data analyst, data scientist at BAE Systems, BAE Systems, data scientist digital with Newton Europe. Let's check this one out and see. So if you click on it, it takes you into the job. You can get to see the job requirement. What do they need? What do they want you to have in terms of the skills? So you must know significant experience using Python, one or more data engineering or data science languages like SQL and R. Okay, so once you know SQL, you know Python, you are good to go. You also need working knowledge of data visualization tools like Qlik or Power BI and so on, or Tableau. Okay, so these are the things you need to know: expertise and experience in data science, machine learning, and all of that. So you see that the requirement is not unbelievable, and it goes beyond your conventional understanding, the misconception you are used to, that I must have a certificate to get a job. We looked at so many jobs. Have you seen anyone that said you need to have one specific certificate? Oh, you need to have a Google certificate. You need to have IBM and all those waste. Is a waste of time, if you ask me, when it comes to certification. And I always say this, and take this out of today's session and write it down on your notepad. It is always experience or competence over credential. Write it down. Competence over credential. Forget about credentials. It makes no sense. Now, have you seen anywhere where they have written you need a certification in anything? We've not seen anything like that. But people run with that assumption and misconception that I can't get a job if I don't have a certificate. But no company is asking you to provide a certificate. What you need to provide to them is your competence. How good are you? Helping them leveraging the tools you know to helping them solve the problems that they have. What skills do you have? They want somebody that has significant experience with Python. Do you have Python? Yes or no? Do you have SQL? Yes or no? Can you use Power BI or Tableau, one of the two? Yes or no? Can you build machine learning models leveraging different machine learning algorithms? Yes or no? Do you understand statistics? Do you know the statistics is the foundation of machine learning? Statistics is the foundation of predictive analytics. Do you understand statistics? Do you understand the measure of central tendency? These are the questions you need to ask, because that's what they want from you. So perhaps you have your CV with all the certifications in the world, but you are still getting rejections because you have not looked at what the company wants from you. So it's very important. Competence over credentials. And what does competence entail? Competence entails your skills and your experience. Your skills and your experience. That's your competence. Okay. So you can see clearly what this particular job wants from you. Whoops, I think I clicked something on my screen. I'm not sure. So you can see what exactly this company wants from you. And this is how you can check. So they ask you, did you apply for this job? No, we did not apply. And you can search for more roles, senior data scientist, and so on and so forth. Or you can simply come in here and type data analyst and search. All right, so you see different roles: annuities data analyst, investment data analyst, marketing data analyst, and so on and so forth. Okay, and you can click on that, check the requirements, go ahead and do what? And apply. And these jobs are visa sponsored. Okay, you can search for the data engineer, and you also have jobs that you can apply to. Okay, data engineer, Virgin Media, senior data engineer, Ernst and Young, James Street, and so on. You have numerous jobs you can apply to. I can apply from anywhere. You could be in the UK today. You are a student, you're a master's student, you are looking to get a job. You have the skills you've learned in a previous training, but you don't have experience and you want to gain that experience. You need to build the experience and start to apply. How do you build experience? By working on projects. By working on what? On projects. And that was how I was able to transition. And so many other professionals that have done the same, working on projects. So I'll show you exactly how to do that with Amdari and what Omomi was also explaining at the beginning of the session. So this is what the UK Visa Jobs does for you. But like I said, you don't have access to this until you make payments. So the platform is not free, but we have made payments already. We have access and we make those jobs available on the Amdari job board. So if you go to the Amdari job board, you have access to these jobs. Okay. So if you go to Amdari, for example, you click on your profile because you would have signed up and all of that, and you'd see the job board. Click on the job board, you have access to these jobs. Okay, so we scrape the jobs from the different job websites, and every single day these jobs are posted right here for you to go ahead and apply. Okay, and that's one of the fantastic opportunities or the fantastic features you have with the Amdari platform. All right, now one other thing I'll show you here for the UK before I move on, I'll speak about a couple and I'll show you one more thing and we start to wrap up our session for today. Okay, now the company jobs you have here, just like we did for the US and we did for Canada, in the UK as well, you have companies that have the license to sponsor. So you don't want to chase any type of company or all the companies available. You want to chase the companies that have the license to sponsor you. There is a lady I'm currently working with. She moved to the UK. She's completed her master's. She applied for a postgraduate work permit. She's worked for 2 years because after your master's, you can apply to work in the UK for 2 years. Okay, so she's done that. She's worked for almost 2 years, and her visa would expire in December. So she has between now and say second, third week in November to get a job. And there are so many people in that category. So she just reached out to me, Adeza, I need help. I need to get a job. And we are looking for ways to help her get this job. So she doesn't have to leave the UK, move back to Nigeria, and so on and so forth. Okay. And part of the things we are doing is rather than searching for organizations that can't sponsor you, using company jobs gives you access to companies that have given certificates of sponsorship the last year. And like we saw from H1B info, we saw with the LMIA list, if you have a company that has given certificates of 1,000 certificates of sponsorship in the year 2023, it simply means that this same company, if I apply and get a job, I can also get sponsored because they easily give the COS. So that's one strategy we are using. Another strategy is to leverage the NHS jobs. The NHS is one of the largest hiring organizations in the UK. You want to get a job in the UK, you're outside the UK, you want to get a job and move to the UK, the NHS can easily give you that job and also sponsor you. Another strategy we are leveraging is the strategy I shared with you using the agencies in Canada. But this time around, we are reaching out to agencies in the UK. We have a candidate, she needs to get a job. Do you have opportunities open for her? Okay, but this lady she's working with Tenalytics, not Amdari, and she's a project manager. Okay, so we're trying to get her a project manager job where she can get sponsored and she gets a job that would sponsor her and she doesn't have to leave the UK. So that's what the company jobs does for you. I've also kept the link where you have access to all the organizations that have the license to sponsor you. Not all organizations can sponsor. You must have the license to sponsor. Before we get to the NHS jobs, if you are getting value, you are enjoying the session, having a great time, give me a thumbs up before we go to the NHS jobs. Just give me a thumbs up. Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay. Thanks for that, Kanayo. So let's start to wrap up. After the NHS jobs, we wrap up. I show you how you are hiding and you're not showing yourself. You're not letting the companies find you. And then we start to wrap up our session. Now let's go to the NHS jobs. The NHS jobs, like I said, is one of the most fantastic platforms. The NHS would not pay you the best salary in the world, okay? But they would easily give you that sponsorship. So once you go to the website, jobs.nhs.uk, go to search for jobs, okay? Search for jobs. So you create an account, you can create an account here, just like you create a profile in most of these job boards. You create a profile and you can track the jobs you've applied to and so on. If you go to search, we can search for jobs. So by coming here, I type data analyst, for example. I can type in my postcode. So if I live in Bradford, for example, or I live in Manchester, or I live in London, or I'm not even in the country, you're not in the country, you want to apply to these jobs, leave it blank. Okay, so don't show me jobs from a particular city. And I always advise people the best opportunities might be outside the city where you live. You could be living in Belfast, in Scotland, for example, and the opportunity that will get you that job is somewhere in Bradford. You should be open to numerous opportunities. All right. So you don't want to streamline yourself to specific locations and make it a bit difficult for yourself. But you can also start from there. See the opportunities closest to you, and then you broaden your search eventually. Okay. So I type in data analyst, click on search, and let's see what comes up. Okay. Senior data analyst, senior data analyst, senior data analyst, business analyst, data insights analyst, real data coordinator and analyst, data administrator, data architect, and you have 426 pages. So even if you decide to apply to all these jobs, and these are all recent jobs, the NHS does a fantastic, job of not leaving the vacancies to be outdated. So any job you see here, the job is actually available. Okay. So this is closing on the 9th of October, for example. You can check what the job is all about, click on that, check what it's all about, see if you have the skills, and then you can go ahead and apply. Okay, you can go ahead and apply. I'm trying to see if they've entered where you have the technologies. Okay, so this is quite extensive. Okay, so we have something here. So PLSQL, Microsoft SQL Server, PostgreSQL, have knowledge using large data sets and relational database. There is no data analyst, no data scientist, no data engineer that would not have, experience using SQL. Okay, so that's pretty much what they want from you as a data architect. Okay, so you check all the jobs available and you start to apply. Okay, you have the data officer, the data architect. The beauty about information analyst, we have one of our participants working as an information analyst with the NHS. We have a whole lot of people in the UK with Tenalytics this time around, not Amdari. So Tenalytics, for some of you that don't know, Tenalytics is a training company. Amdari is where you get experience. Tenalytics trains you, you work on projects. Amdari is where you have the skills, but you want to get a job and you want to show employers that you are still on the job. You've worked on numerous projects. You are still active, learning new technologies, and that is where you want to come to. Okay, so we have over 55 people working with the NHS alone on full visa sponsorship. And I tell you, the NHS is one of the most fantastic platforms where you can easily get visa sponsorship jobs. Okay, so lastly, I'll show you the Visa Jobs HQ because I said I was going to show you that. All right, so I'll show you the Visa Jobs HQ and then we wrap up our session. So some of you want to get jobs in Germany, Poland. You're living somewhere around Asia. You're not living in Asia. You're living in Nigeria. You want to move to Asia, get a job, move to Norway, and so on. If you go to, okay, I have it here open already. So Visa Jobs HQ. Again, you need to be subscribed. So if we look at that, we have an account with them. Okay, so for you to do all the things you need to do, get the best value, you must subscribe. So you can't get access to all the jobs with a free version. So what we do is, like I said, and I've said it so much, I've said it like a million times, we've accessed, we have also subscribed to these platforms to provide that access for you. So let's say I want to get a job somewhere in Europe. Okay, I click on Europe. I can see the jobs they have available, and I can streamline my search by either going here and search visa sponsorship and remote jobs. Okay, or I can simply come in here and select business intelligence. You have cloud, you have cybersecurity, you have what we are looking for, data scientist. Okay, so we have data science. We click on that. This is a job, for example, somewhere in Berlin, Germany. Okay, so if I click on this, I can open it up and I can see what the role is all about in Germany. They're looking for an equity research analyst, okay, with a company. So you look at the responsibilities. What do you need to know? What tools or skill sets do you need to have to apply to this job? Okay, you can check this is a junior data analyst in Norway. If I click on that, I can see what the role entails. And you can see clearly it is what? They're hiring a junior data analyst in Norway, relocate with work visa sponsorship. And this is a platform that has given so many of our participants visa jobs. Okay, and this is where you can also get opportunities. So you see the tools you need to bring on board: SQL, Python, or R, Excel, and so on. Okay, so what we offer, you get to see that here. All right, you get to see what they offer. It's a full-time role, permanent position, flexible work hours, all right, work-life balance, and so on and so forth. So you can apply to this job. If you don't have subscriptions, you can't do that. So we make that available. And like I said, the Visa Jobs HQ is where if you want to go beyond just the US, the UK, and Canada, you can apply to jobs in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, and so on, Dubai, and all of that. Europe, you want to get just remote jobs, you want to get jobs around Asia, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so these are the platforms you can start to use today. You can start to use today. But imagine you have access to all these platforms. The big question I always ask people is, do you know why people struggle to get jobs? There are two major reasons, and not based on sentiment or based on opinion, but this is based on research. The two major reasons why people don't get jobs is because, number one, they don't apply to jobs. They don't what? Apply to jobs. So you have very few people applying to jobs. They don't have the right CV. They don't have the right LinkedIn. And they can't do all the things I've shown you to do today. Because like I said, it is painstaking and it is not easy to go this particular route. But this is what gives you results. So people don't apply to jobs. And I'll show you the research I'm talking about. Okay. Like I said, this is based on research. And let's quickly do this 2 minutes. I'll show you. So this is a report that shows the talent shortage, job crisis, employer says applicants don't have the right skills. So it's a research done. But let me go to, so you have the talent shortage across multiple regions. In the UK, for example, the talent shortage moved from 19% in 2018 to 80% in 2023. It's increased by more than 61%. So employers are looking for people to hire, but people are not applying to jobs. Okay. And you see where the employers actually said that. So here, the main reasons for the skill shortage. Number one is what? There are few or no applicants. Number two, applicants do not have the right skills or experience to get these jobs. So these are the two major reasons people don't apply to jobs. And firsthand, I've seen it happen. It's the 100% truth. It's shocking because you want to get a job, but you're applying to just 5 jobs a day, when you should be applying to nothing less than 15 to 20 jobs at the minimum every single day. Secondly, applicants do not have the right skills or experience, meaning that they don't have the what? Sorry. Meaning that they don't have the what? The competence. If you don't have the right skills, you don't have the right experience, it means you don't have the competence. Now, how do you showcase this? How do you show that you are right for the job and you can get this job and not struggle to land a job? If you can't show your skills, how good you are, you can't show your experience, the quality of the work you've done, you're equivalent to this gentleman. You're never going to get the job. And I'm going to show you the gentleman who would never get that job. Okay? And let's work together. For those of you who have joined my session before, I've shown you this. Okay? So I'm going to do it again, a very quick exercise. Just give me 1 second and I'll share this with you very quickly. Okay? If you are like this gentleman who would never get the job. Now imagine you want to build a couch for your living room. You bought a house, you bought an apartment, you are moving into a condo, you are moving into a new rented apartment, and you want to buy a couch. There is somebody who has a certificate to show that I can do the job. I'm a carpenter, I've gone to carpentry school, I can build your couch for you. See my certificate now. You see the certificates, I'm always going to show everybody that I can do the job. And you have that other person who has a showroom, carpenter B. So carpenter A is the person with the certificates, brags about it, and so on. Carpenter B is the person with the showroom. You can see the showroom, you can see all the couch with the different colors, what he has been able to build. Clearly indicate you can walk into that showroom, touch and feel every single aspect, every single couch that he has built. My question to you, and I want you to type into the chat, who would you give the project to make your couch? Carpenter A or Carpenter B? Type into the chat, Carpenter A or Carpenter B. Who would you give the job to get you your couch? Everybody says Carpenter B. So Paul says Carpenter B, Muhyiddin, Esther, Bimbo, Angela, Elizabeth, Carlos, Kanayo, Muhammad. Everybody says Carpenter B. Nobody wants to make that mistake of hiring somebody who they are not sure if they can do the job. But that's what so many people do. You make employers, potential employers that would hire you, you make the work more difficult for them by hiding within a paper qualification. You need to have a showroom like this. Employers, potential employers need to see what you have done. They need to be able to feel, assess, to decide this is the one I'll go for, and not that person who has a paper qualification. Okay, and that's why your project, your portfolio is your showroom. You must have the mindset of the showroom, the professional with a showroom. If you don't have a showroom where people can go into and see the work you've done, you are hiding and nobody will find you. Okay, employers are always looking out. So some people go into the interview and one of the first questions is, oh, tell me what you've done before. Tell me how you've built a machine learning model to predict this or that. How do you select your machine learning algorithms? Or how did you test, for the most accurate model? These are the questions that are competency based. If you haven't done them before, you can't answer the question. If you don't have a showroom, they can't see what you've done. The link to your showroom would always be on your CV. So that's why it's very important. And for us at Analytics, we are solving this problem. So we've seen where the problems are. And for the problem one, people don't apply to jobs. You have where we review your CV for you. Like Omomi said, you have your LinkedIn optimized. You have your virtual internship experience with us. And you can indicate Amdari as part of your work experience. Okay, so that's where you can also get a work reference letter. You have access to our remote job board where you don't need to bother, oh, how do I subscribe to UK visa jobs? How do I subscribe to this or subscribe to that? Because you already have the job board you have access to and apply to those jobs. Okay, you can track your progress real time. You have your personal learning plan. You have access to over 200 projects. For you to get a job as a data scientist, as a data analyst, as a data engineer, before you even start applying, before you bother applying to any job, you need to have a minimum of about 10 to 15 projects. And these projects must be tailored in a way that shows the skills you have, solving it in a logical manner. All right. So you have access to all of this. You build your portfolio, that showroom where employers would walk into. You build your portfolio on Amdari. You take the link, you put the link on your CV, and employers can go into your portfolio and see what you've done. And then they know that this is the right person for the job. I'm not going to give that person who has a paper that says he can build the couch, but I'll give the person that has actually built the couch. Okay, you would have access to all our employability sessions. So sessions like this, mentorship sessions every week, you get access to those mentorship sessions. All right. So when Omomi said you get to learn from the best, you learn from the best in the industry, getting a job, helping you build a portfolio, build your experience, expand your skills before you go into that room. All right. The second problem where you have people don't have experience, this is because they don't have evidence for what they've done. And that's where your portfolio comes in. So I'll show you what the portfolio looks like in 1 minute, because Omomi has explained that at the beginning, but I'll just show you what it looks like and why it is instructive and very important that people find you. I have interviewed so many people. I have gotten to work with too many people to see the mistakes people make. Let's say you want to get a job as a data analyst. The first question I would ask for me to assess how good you are is send me the link to your portfolio. And I can tell you categorically that you're wasting your time. And these are the things you need to do before you even start applying to jobs. Okay, so the portfolio is very, very important. All right, so we've seen that the carpenter B is the person that will get the job. And you also get to join the Amdari community. Omomi has explained this already, where we have somebody like Kasmir. Kasmir is on the call with us right now. And Kasmir secured, an internship working for a company through the Amdari platform. Nana secured an internship as well. I'm not sure if Nana is here, but she was able to secure an internship through the Amdari platform. And you have people communicating, somebody like Her Excellency who communicated within the group, asking for support. Oh, I've worked on this, I've worked on that. I need to solve this particular problem. Okay? And somebody provided the answer. This is what you should look at. Or do it this way, do it that way. So you're a data engineer, you can never, know and have all the skills and all the experience. You need a community to also support you. And that's what Amdari gets for you. You also get to join all of our, sessions, mentorship, employability series, and all of that for free. Like I said, if you don't have a minimum of 10 quality projects in your portfolio, you're likely not going to get hired. So how do you become a part of Amdari? What do you need to do? We recently launched something new based on requests from so many people. All right. So we have the starter plan. The starter plan is where you register, you sign up with Amdari for free. Like Omomi said, as a data analyst, you have access to 2 projects. As a data scientist, you have access to 2 projects. As a data engineer, you have access to 2 projects. So there are 6 free projects for you just signing up with Amdari. So you can build your portfolio for free. And you don't need to make payment to build your portfolio. So even if you build your portfolio today, your free subscription ends, you still have access to the portfolio. The only difference is you can't upload more projects without the subscription. But you have the portfolio, you have the link, you can share. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? You have over 1,000 minutes of project access, personal learning plan, real-time progress tracking, go from zero to job ready, and access all our employability session. So that's the free plan. 0 payment. You don't need a credit card. You don't need a debit card. You have access for free. Now you have the professional plan, which is the plan we recommend for professionals like you. Now, initially, it was a minimum of 6 months. Okay, but now what we've done is bring it down to you having the opportunity to register for 1 month. And if you want to move on to the next month, you can go ahead and do that to work on more projects. We know some people already have projects and they just want to add to the projects they have. Some people are already good with the use of Excel, Power BI, SQL, but they want to learn Looker. Okay, so you want to work on projects using Looker. So what you can do is access Amdari for a month, paying just $49. So for those paying in dollars, you get to pay just $49. If you're paying in Naira, you get to pay almost 50,000, 49,999. And if you're paying in dollars, you pay $49.99 for a month. And you can work on as many projects as you want. You get access to the virtual internship experience, access to the remote job board, apply to as many jobs, and within the space of a month, we hope that you do get an opportunity and get that job. All right. You get a work reference letter from us, CV review, LinkedIn optimization, your personal learning plan, and so on and so forth. Access to over 200 plus projects, which of course you can't complete in a month, is impossible, but you have access to those projects. Okay. You build your portfolio. Any new project we upload within the period of your subscription, you'll also have access to that. And it's just for $49.99. And I'll show you how to get access to this for those of you who will be joining the Amdari platform at the end of today's session, which we have just about 5 minutes, and then we are wrapping up. Okay. Now you also have the unlimited plan. Now the unlimited plan is you. I don't know who has seen that story of a man who bought unlimited access to fly. Was it United Airlines or American Airlines? I can't remember, but I think it's United Airlines. He paid years ago $250,000 to fly for free for the rest of his life. Who heard that story? Just give me a thumbs up if you heard that story. If you heard that story, give me a thumbs up. Okay, Tomiwa heard it. Oluleke heard it as well. Thank you. Not even Mark Cuban. Okay, Mark Cuban did the same. Yes, Samuel Precious. Mark Cuban also did the same, but this particular gentleman is not even Mark Cuban. So he paid over maybe 30 years ago and he flew. In fact, because of that man, the airline had to cancel that particular program where you have access to unlimited flights. So the airline implemented that program about 30 years ago. But the way that man flew every single day from one place to the other, they decided to not, open that access to other people. So what am I saying in essence? We also have an unlimited plan, which means from now to eternity, you have access to Amdari. You don't have to, if the price goes up, it doesn't bother you. Any new project, anything new we implement, you have access to it. But it's a bit pricey. It's $1,800 to have the unlimited access. So 30 years from now, you'd say that, I also did this. My friend has also worked on the project. My children has even inherited my access because I paid 1,800 at the end of the day. So that's the unlimited plan. Okay, so we recommend usually the professional plan for that professional who wants to build a portfolio, who needs access to more projects and build a portfolio on that project. Right? You have all the all the features from the professional is exactly the same features for the unlimited. The difference is one is unlimited. You don't have to pay any money. The other one is for 1 month access. And we are leaving this 1 month access for the first 30 people to register. So it's not opened up to everybody. It's opened up to the first 30 people to register. You would always have access to that 1 month. So once you've gotten into the 1 month plan, it's always going to be available. So by the time we move back to 3 months, you can continue your 1 month plan. You can register this month. You are free in the office. You can work on projects. The next month, you want to start using the project you have to apply to jobs. And whenever you decide to work on more projects, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months later, you can do another 1 month subscription and work on more projects, at your own will. Okay, so it's open to the first 30 people who'll be registering from today's session. All right, and how do you get access? Pretty straightforward. And I'll show you this, and this will take us to the end of our session today. So if you come in here and click on the link, it takes you to the Amdari platform. Tomiwa is also sharing that in the chat. So when you come in here, you see the pricing plan, just like I explained. You come in here, professional plan. Okay, you select that. It's for $49.99, but that's monthly. If you want to pay for a year, you get 3 months for free. So instead of paying for the full year, you get to pay for just 9 months. The fees for 9 months. Okay, so rather than paying $588, you get to pay just $468. So you get a discount if you're paying for the full year. Okay, so you can pay from now until next year, September, and you have access for a full year, or you can simply pay the monthly fee of $49.99. So if I come in here and I click on choose this plan, it takes me to where I can go ahead and make payments. Okay, so you'd see the currency based on your location. So I'm going to change this. You can change the currency here as well. So if I go to the US dollar, you'd see $49. I can select euros, the Nigerian naira, NGN. Okay, the Nigerian naira is 49,999. Okay, I can select euros if I'm paying in euros, for example, and I get to pay just 48 euros. Okay, you can pay in pounds if you're paying in pounds, GBP, Great British Pounds, and you have 40 pounds. Okay, so you click on subscribe, you go ahead and enter your name, enter your email, your phone number, and then you are able to pay for the product. And this is how you get access to Amdari. Remember, the discount is available for the first 30 people from this session to register. And if you've gotten into the monthly plan, you'd have access to that monthly plan whenever you want to come back on the platform. So if you've done the 1 month, September to the end of October, you want to take a break for the rest of the year and start again sometime in January, work on more projects. You can do another monthly subscription and go ahead. So when we go back to the 3 months, 6 months plan, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So for your portfolio, I'll just show you. I think I showed you the job board already. Now, if I go to my portfolio, for example, you can see the project I have worked on. Okay. So I've worked on cohort analysis for assessing customer retention in the e-commerce industry. If I click on view this project, you can see every single thing this project entails. The overview, the rationale, the aim of the project, the data description, the tech stack. So what tech stack did you learn? And this is where you highlight your skills to the employer. The employer can see the skill. And if they see that this is what I want, why go look for somebody else? So make yourself easy to be found. Okay, so these are the libraries I use. The major tech stack was Python. I also leverage NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Scikit-learn, and so on and so forth. Okay, you see the project scope and so on. Now you can share your portfolio. If you want to share your portfolio with any recruiter, if I want to share my portfolio with you, I come in here, click on share link. Okay, sorry, click on copy link, and the link has been copied. And I can paste this on my CV. I can paste it on my LinkedIn profile. And anybody can click on that and see a summary about you, see the project you've worked on, Wikipedia data scraping, insightful manufacturing, transforming data into financial and risk insights with AWS Athena for the manufacturing sector. So anybody who comes in here and looks at the projects you've completed, without a doubt, just like the carpenter who has a showroom, they would know the quality of the skills you bring on board. Okay, so it's very important. You can also share the link to your portfolio on different platforms, like Omomi showed us earlier, and you can work on as many projects as possible. You have access to the project from data analytics to data science to data engineering, and work on as many projects to keep on adding to your portfolio. Remember, if you haven't completed 10 to 15 projects, you haven't gotten started. So all the things I've shown you today, getting the employer to sponsor you, working with you to see the skills and experience you have and giving you that sponsorship, they would want to see that you are worth the while and you are worth the money. And that's where your skills and experience comes in. Your portfolio does all of that for you. All right. So I'm going to take a break. I'll take a pause at this point in time. I'll take a few questions and then we'll call it a day. A great time today. Once more, give me a thumbs up. And I know you've had an amazing time. Remember, if you fill the attendance form, you get access to the recording, you get access to the materials. My slide, I'll share that with you at the end of today's session. Okay, so let me get more questions from you. So this is questions and answer time. Questions and answer. So type into the chat or raise your hand and I'll call you up to ask a question. So I think Peter has a question. So we'll do question and answer for the next 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, so Peter, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Let's hear from you, Peter.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Thank you for the wonderful presentations.
It's a pleasure anytime, Peter. Go ahead. Let's hear from you.
All
Where are
right.
you joining us from?
I'm joining from airport, Abuja.
Abuja. Okay, brilliant.
Yes, sir. All right. So I have actually been running a program that has made me to kind of not be consistent with my learning because I was learning data analytics on Coursera.
Okay.
Data analytics, yeah. So I have not been able to build. I've just built just one portfolio, one project, and I'm just feeling not too confident. But I want to get this course. Is there like a guide that will help me to be able to kind of go through the project here, or if I buy the course, I'll just have to be on my own?
No, not at all. Not at all. So let me walk you. That's a very brilliant question, by the way, Peter. So the
Thank you, sir.
projects are guided. Okay. Now, what do we mean by guided projects? Guided projects are projects that you complete on your own, but at the same time, you have all the help completing that project. And what do I mean? If I click on this, let me go to a new project, for example, tenant retention optimization. Okay. I click on this project and I want to start the project. So you have all the details of what you've learned, the overview, what the problem you're trying to solve. Okay. They have high tenant churn rates. They have limited tenant insights. Okay. So that's the problem they're trying to solve. They have at the moment and they want to solve. There's a rationale, okay, for the project, the importance of completing. That's the rationale. Why do we jump on this project? So you have all the details right here. Now, once I click on start project, okay, start project, you download your materials and your data sets. You have everything right here. Okay, you have your introduction video, the video introducing you to the project, which is right here. If I click on play, it would play what the project is all about before I get started. Now, as you watch your video from time to time, the project overview, the business introduction, the business problem, you will be solving the problem based on a guide. So somebody has created this. It's a real life project, a real life problem an organization faced. They've curated the case study, they've worked on the project, and the next thing for you to do is to work on that same project. So while solving any of the problem, if you need the solution to a particular aspect, you've listened to the introduction, you've downloaded all the materials, you've watched the installation videos of the tools you need to install, what the problem is all about, you can get started working on the project on your own. But if you get stuck in a particular area, you don't know what to do, all you have to do is come to the project solutions video. You watch those videos, and by the time you are done, you would have gone past any single issue that you have, and you're able to your solution. Okay. Now, if you have other questions, you want to speak to somebody. Sorry about that. You want to speak to somebody, you want somebody to work with you to say, hey, I have this question. I'm not sure I can get the solution from the video, or maybe I missed it. I didn't see the solution. You can always chat us up. All right. So you see this particular WhatsApp icon. You can click on that, send us a message. Somebody would respond. Finally, you also get to join a community. It's a WhatsApp community, just like I showed you from my slide. So if you remember when I showed the community, and the beauty about the community, Peter, is you don't need anybody, specific to respond. You just need somebody to answer your question and help you solve that problem, just like this lady did. So this lady had an issue with her DAX expression on Power BI. So she sent this message: good morning all. Please, I'm trying to extract the dates from the production table of the operations data, but it keeps returning error on the DAX query in my Power BI. She entered the formula she used, and then somebody sent her a message: remove all the spaces around the table and column names, ensure the correct data type for concatenation, and sent the expression she needs to use. I know the font is a bit tiny, so perhaps you can't see the wording, but when you get the slide, you'd see the interaction. And by doing that, she was able to solve that problem. And she said, thank you, I've been able to solve the problem. And that's the community you have. So you have multi-layered solution, and you're not stuck at any point in time. Okay, does that answer your question, Peter?
Very well, sir. But sir, do you have option to choose whether to work with Excel, SQL, and all of that, or it's limited to a particular program?
You have any technology you can imagine that the data analyst, the data engineer, the data scientist uses. You have them here. So right from the home page, if you go to explore, all right, you have the skill tracker. Okay, so if I come in here, I go to technologies, for example, I can see some of the technologies and I can see more. So Excel, Power BI, Tableau, Looker, SQL, Python, R, Google Sheets, AWS, Azure, GCP. I can click on more. So the project you work on would also determine the type of tool you'd get to use. And you can always filter for the tool. If you want to work on projects with PostgreSQL, right from here, I can filter based on the tool. Okay, click on that, and it will show me projects I can start working on using PostgreSQL. If I want to work on projects with MongoDB, I can click on that, and I'll see this project streaming data from, oops, I think I clicked on it, sorry about that. Streaming data from Reddit using Kafka, Spark, and MongoDB. So you can filter for the tool right here. Okay, you can also
Yes, sir.
filter based on the level, if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. You can filter based on the industry. You want to move into the energy industry like I did from financial services. You filter by energy. You want to get a promotion you're currently working in logistics and supply chain. You want to work on projects to show your line manager that you've upskilled and you're good enough to move to that next level. You want to work on more projects. You come to logistics and supply chain, filter. Okay? Does that answer your question, Peter?
Excellent, Lisa. Yes, I'm okay.
Fantastic. So let me take maybe one more question, and then I want to wrap up at exactly 12:30. 12:30 my time, which would be around 7:30 UK and Nigerian time. Okay, so let's take from Buchi Unduka. Buchi, please go ahead. Let's hear from you. How are you doing today, Buchi?
Hi, good evening, Mr. Adiza. I'm fine, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, fantastic.
Okay, so okay, good. My question is actually sort of in threefold. Firstly, I would like to know this training, is it just for data analysts? Because I realized that the focal point of conversation or discussions were just around data analysis, and I know that you said you could get other jobs, but what you were focused on was data analysis. That's the first one. Secondly, is it possible for someone who has a basic knowledge in data analysis to get a job with just like you mentioned, a visa sponsored job like that, or you have to improve or do work on different projects first of all, upgrade your skills to certain level? Is that possible? And yes.
So you're muted.
Okay, thanks for that. So I didn't know I was muted. So let me start with your last question, Buchi. And nobody would hire you for basic knowledge. That would never happen. All right. And why do I say so? Imagine you are an employer and you want to hire somebody. You're not just going to hire that person, but I think there's a feedback from your end, so I'll just mute you while I. I think there's feedback from your end, so I'll just mute you. All right. So when I, wrap up, if you still have questions, you can unmute. Okay. So
Okay.
imagine you're an employer. You have a company. Your company is in Nigeria, and you want to hire somebody from, say, Cote d'Ivoire or Rwanda, and bring them into Nigeria to work with you. Now, the Nigerian government has said, for you to bring this person, there are certain measures you must take. There are certain things you must do. You're not going to go through that stress for somebody who has basic knowledge. Nobody will do that. It must be worth it. All right. So you can't get anything with basic. Okay. You must have the skills. and you must have the experience, in the sense that you must be good with the use of that tool. You must be able to hold your own when it comes to using that particular technology to solve problems, the problem the organization you're trying to get into. Now, how do you move from basic to intermediate to advanced? It's very simple. Like I was explaining to the other gentleman from Abuja, Peter. Now, I want to work on this project. Okay, now this is not a project. Let's say I want to work on this. Let's go to a beginner project, for example. I want to work on this project, real estate price prediction utilizing multiple linear regression. It's a beginner project. I click on this so I can filter for the tool. So I know the tool I'm going to have to use as well. But if you come to the tech stack, this is only Microsoft Excel. Okay, so imagine you are basic in the use of Excel, like you said, Buchi. Rather than trying to solve this yourself, because when I spoke to Peter, or answered Peter's question, I told him, after you've watched, so let's go to start project. Okay, so after you've downloaded your data set, your material, and you have watched your installation video, the introduction, and let me show you. If I click on this, for example, you'd watch, okay, you'd watch what this is all about, listen to the problem, know what you're trying to solve, okay, and you start to solve the problem. But somebody who has basic knowledge and doesn't know what to do, what do you have to do? Rather than trying to solve it yourself, you go to the solution, section 2, project solution video. You watch your project introduction, you watch the business introduction, okay? You watch the business problem, and you are literally watching somebody solve that problem, and you learn through the process. And by the time you are done watching all the videos, okay, business introduction, business problem, why MLG, why multiple linear regression, why not a simple linear regression? So you learn all these things. What's the aim of the project? What's the data description, the tech stack, and the scope? You start with your EDA, your exploratory data analysis, your EDA descriptive statistics, you do your histograms, your correlation, and you are working with this professional you see right here, showing you how to do everything you're doing. So by the end of this project, which will take you roughly about 1 week or less, but because you are basic, like you said, you have basic skills, it will take you about a week to complete this project. When you are done working on this, you would have gotten the understanding of statistics in Excel, how to use not just the simple linear regression, but multiple linear regression, and you'd have known how to solve this problem. Okay, so I don't know if that helps answer the second, but let me go to the first question. The focus for this session today is not just on the data analyst job, and that's why when we're searching for roles, we looked at the data scientist, we looked at the data engineer. So there are 3 key roles we looked at today: the data analyst, the data scientist, and the data engineer. Okay, so you don't just have to focus on one area, which is the data analytics. But if that's where you started from, that's where you have your skills in at the moment, you want to build on that. So rather than solving the project yourself, you want to do what? You want to follow the solution and complete the project solution. And that serves as 2 things. You're building your portfolio with a project, and you're also learning at the same time. If that makes sense. Buchi. Hi, Buchi, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much. One more thing, the third one is that I'm actually looking at switching career path, or probably adding up to what I already know. I already have a background in marketing and brand development. So I was looking at scaling or moving up to something different and trying to move to another location. So that's the reason why I actually.
So what career path are you looking to move
I don't know
into?
how. So what career path are you looking to move into? So I'm actually looking at going into the tech space, and the closest to it that I think that is closely related to um my profession right now is in data. So basically that's why I don't know if it's actually something that is progressive.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. I like your questions, Buchi. Very intelligent questions. Now, a lot of people don't know that. I saw Prince. There's a gentleman. His name is Prince. I don't know if Prince is still here. Prince is a fantastic one of our superstars. Prince works with. Let me see if Prince is still here. Okay, I think Prince has left. I saw him just now. Let me search. Okay, Prince has left. Okay, so Prince was here just a few seconds ago. Now, Prince works from Nigeria, okay, and works for a company in the UK. And Prince is a business development manager. But you know what he does? Prince uses data to create segmentations, customer segments. So he builds segmentation models that places customers in different buckets so that the company can target their services to those customers based on their specific needs. So marketing itself, if it is not built on a solid base of data, you really would not get what you want. And that's why for anybody in marketing, for anybody in sales, data analytics, data science should be the best complementary skill you want to add to that. So if you ask me, I think you've said the right things, Buchi. The data analytics career path would be a fantastic way to start. All you need to do if you want to leverage a platform like Amdari is go to projects, go to tools, start with Excel, go to level, start from beginner, go to industry. You can select a specific industry or leave it blank. Specialization, you can select, you have customer analytics, customer segmentation. So for somebody like you, Buchi, a customer segmentation project will be good for you. Because when you're able to segment your customers based on certain criteria, like age, income, location, I can tell that if you live in a particular, region. Prince just joined again. Prince, I was talking about you a few seconds ago about the work that you do for BBX. So I saw Prince just join.
A
Yeah.
call came in. That's why I exited the call. Sorry.
All
Good
right,
evening,
Prince.
sir.
Good evening. Do you want to tell us a bit about what you do for BBX?
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. So basically, my role basically involves trying to understand the problems of businesses. So that's basically what I do. I understand businesses. I set up meetings with the CEOs of the companies of various companies, and we have meetings. I try to understand their problems. I get their data. I analyze their data to understand how BBX can provide solutions to their problems, and we basically go from there. So you have me
Yep.
jumping on meetings like from Monday to Friday, calling, and basically that's what I do.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing, Prince. And I apologize for putting you on the spot. I know I just saw you pop
I'm
in.
so, I'm
Yeah,
so used to it.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Thanks for that. Absolutely phenomenal. You might want to, for those of you who want to get into the space, Prince is a fantastic gentleman. Okay, he's doing very well for himself. You want to connect with him on LinkedIn too. Okay, so Prince does amazing work for a company in the UK, works from Nigeria, and every single thing we are saying today aligns with a professional like Prince. Okay, so you talked about marketing, you talked about understanding the customer, Buchi, and that was why I told Prince to talk about a little bit, on what he does for that company. So you want to look at specializations like customer segmentation, customer analytics, and that would help you build projects within that space, if that makes sense, Buchi. So that's how you can start. Start with data analytics, start with the basics, start with the foundation, and build your way up from there. Okay. All right. So Omomi, I don't know if we have any other thing planned. I think at this point, I'm going to take a bow from today's session. And I want to thank you all, first of all, for being a part of your Sunday. I know it's late in the evening on Sunday, but I want to thank you for being a part of your Sunday. Abdulrazak, can you send your question to the chat and I'll pick it up from there before I leave? And also, thanks for being a part of your Sunday and joining us today. All right. Feel free to reach out to the team. If you have any questions, if you're in our community, feel free to reach out, send messages, ask us questions. We're very happy to engage every single one of you. Take advantage of the opportunity we have right now to be a part of Amdari and get to connect with us and do amazing stuff. Okay. Yes, you get the recording for today's session. You get my slides. I'll share them with you. And thank you very much, guys. Have a productive week ahead. For those in Nigeria, happy independence in advance. Unfortunately, I wish we could celebrate the same across all the different countries. Have a fantastic week ahead for others. And I'll see you some other time in a session like this. Okay? Cheers, everyone.